No.
I think the focus is on Barry, at this moment. Like, we're in this first season where he's just starting to discover his powers and kind of go through his initial moral dilemmas. So whether that's down the line for us, maybe a little later,
But for some of us, sooner rather than later.
What? What?
What?
I don't think you were talking about me. Were you talking about me?
Was I?
Were you?
I don't know.
I'm answering everything question with a question, aren't you?
Are you Reverse Flash?
I don't know if I am. Are you?
I
I'm
think
not.
you are.
What?
Yes.
Who told you that? Where do you get your information from?
Your
It's on the internet.
The internet,
that's
your
right.
show, my
Yeah,
mom.
Right. Well, then you're right. Then,
Who's a DC
I
Universe
throw my money
authority.
down, take my shoes off. Your mom is right.
So, this is the second show that you guys
What?
have. We have no idea. We have no idea.
Answering questions with questions, aren't you?
Okay. Yeah.
This is the second show that you guys have developed with really, really strong female science characters. Yes. We did a Paley panel earlier in the year talking about kind of the representation of women in STEM, science and technology, and how shows like this are maybe encouraging young girls and women to get into science. So I wanted to just ask you guys if that was, something that was conscious for you, or what the fan response has been to this really strong female scientist on the show, and obviously to Felicity on Arrow.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a conscious choice in that we like our characters all to be smart and interesting and diverse, and I think it makes the stories more exciting for us to tell, and it makes the show feel and look more like this room, which has filled with incredible people, and we're really we try and make everybody as dynamic and fascinating as possible.
You talked a little bit about the fact that the show's going to be bringing in time travel. I mean, we've obviously started to dabble with that, and we know that Barry went back to the moment when his mother was killed. Now, he just in the last episode that we saw said, "I'm going to get this right this time." But how? I'm not telling you to say how it will change, because clearly you guys aren't going to give me anything tonight. But how might it speculatively change who Barry and the team are in the present time?
We talk about the ramifications of time travel, and there's definitely episodes coming up where there is concern that if certain events change in the past, it will affect who everyone is, how they are, what their relationships are to each other. But again, like Greg said, it really, that's what's really interesting about that stuff to us is what's emotional about it. And these people who are entwined in each other's lives, and people who love each other, and people who are family. And if the past changes, does the present change as well? And that's part of the makeup of the show.
Right. I mean, if Barry saves his mom, then this family that he's formed and that he's lived with his whole life would,
might not happen.
mooted. Yeah, we rendered off.
But I might get my wife back.
Good trade-off?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And don't you live next door? So we'd still be cool.
A big theme on the show has also been family, and we got a little glimpse of the fact that potentially one of the reasons why Dr. Wells is such a dick is because
I would have been cursing this whole time if I would have known.
what the
I would have been cursing this whole time.
I
if
only
knew.
say words that I've actually heard on CW.
Oh.
Wow,
That was my game.
I like
Okay,
that.
That's totally.
Good, that's good.
Is that he, suffered a terrible loss of his own. So I want to just hear a little bit more from the EPs and also from the actors about how the theme of family has been shot through the show for you. Because what's nice about this show is, I've really loved anyway, the conversations between Barry and Joe, and honestly, the conversations between Barry and Dr. Wells. And I just want to hear a little bit more about how that's been to play for you guys.
I've always said those are my favorite scenes. I mean, they're simple, they're fun. I love working with both of them, and yeah, those dynamics are really interesting, and I think naturally layered because we get along really well in real life. So I love those scenes.
I love them too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, they're the simplest things we do, but they really have the biggest payoff.
I also will say, just in terms of family, you can play a villain as a mustache-twirling villain, or the bonds that this character, as written by these guys, has with these people is genuine and real. Respect and caring, love for all of these people, which makes the next step for this character, and for these characters, that much more difficult because they've been smart enough to put this colossal amount of emotion in the middle of it where hearts are breaking because now the model is changing, but it doesn't make that affection any less genuine.
Who is feeding the metahumans in the prison?
That's such a great.
Thanks. Can I just say, we talk about that. We talk about that. Don't we talk about
I'm really worried about them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Weather Wizard
Please, jump in.
loves Thai food.
It's true.
Yep.
Big belly burger. Enchiladas.
Yep.
This is all Dr. Snow's feeding everybody?
An answer is coming. An answer is coming. Someone's
See
been
it?
feeding
Yeah.
them.
They haven't seen it. We actually see a scene of how they're being tended to.
Thank
in an upcoming
God.
episode.
They tended to very well. And I always ask the same thing. I'm like, who's cleaning this place up?
Gunther.
Who?
Gunther.
Gunther cleans everything.
You guys don't know
needs a
Gunther.
raise.
No, Gunther's gonna be fired. The number of people he just lets walk in.
It's the same thing. You have the same security system they have over at the Arrow. Like, just people all day long.
Not great.
But we love Gunther. He should
We
have been
do.
fired by now, but we kept him.
We haven't
can't.
told you about Gunther.
His family.
No, this is news.
Yeah.
Gunther is essentially a turnstile. Come on in. No, you have a line in about 2 minutes. You better hurry upstairs. Go, go, go.
Writers.
We set it up in the beginning of the year, but we do deal with the moral implications of them being
Yeah.
sort of judge and jury by the end of the year. We
Right.
deal with it very directly in an episode.
Well, I mean, it's exciting because I was like, I get you have to lock these metahumans up, but at some point, like maybe like a book. Something to do. We just did the Arrow panel, and that show it's linear in terms of timeline and emotionally. Obviously, there are flashbacks, but there's a general linear progression. This show is a lot more moving parts, and I just wonder what the biggest challenge is going to be for you guys going forward, managing all of these different temporal threads and trying to resolve them in a way that makes sense in the present time.
It's gonna be mostly them, like what they hand us. I mean, because people say to me, in episode 113, I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I was like, what happened? But if they have it right, then we'll have it right.
But also, as actors, as time travel has already been introduced, it's already started to get confusing. Like, wait, do I know that or do I
Right.
not? Did I unknow that at some
Yeah.
point? Like,
It's very
so that will be the hardest thing to keep track of, I think.
Yeah,
as an actor.
it's so hard to figure out what do I know and what don't I know right now in this moment.
Right.
Something comes up, and then you have to go right back to the continuity lady, and then it goes like.
We always knew what the finale was on every season of Arrow that we did, and with this show it was even more so. And all the elements that are in the pilot episode are actually going to be paid off. And we didn't know every step along the way, and there's always room for inspiration and improvisation and creativity. But for the most part, the finale that we're actually writing right now is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our job. A lot of the threads that are coming together are stuff that we basically had sort of decided on when we were writing the pilot. So,
And we can take those risks, but the truth is, we get the dailies back and we get the cuts in, and we are always so blown away by what everybody does and how they sell these stories and make them all feel so real, and those scientific concepts that are totally BS that you're asking about, they make it feel real. They make it feel real, and it's their heart and soul that everyone is. We will keep aiming for the fences and trying to do that stuff, and sometimes we'll hopefully sometimes it will work and sometimes it doesn't, but for the most part it's just been we've been as gratified as everybody else has been, and surprised a lot of times by like, wow, that really feels like it works.
It's been pretty kick-ass so far. So with that, we're going to go to audience questions.
What we were able to work in on the show in episode 12 with the karaoke was really fun, and if we can justify singing, then I'm totally down to sing. I don't want to do a musical episode, but yeah, it's fun to get some singing in if we can. Yeah, but this is great. I mean, this is unlike anything I've ever done. I've said from the beginning, it's not even a dream come true. It's something I could have never imagined happening. So I just try to enjoy every moment. It's really fun. Yeah, that's our hope. So, and we've already been picked up for a second year. So. I think if we were going to do something like that, we would do it next year.
DC.
I think that was a really good place to end the panel. Everybody, please give it up for Team Flash!